student work that is audio or video along the way. So I want to walk people through the steps of how we might just do that. And we can submit that evidence of learning through Classroom. You can do it in other ways too if you're not using Google Classroom. Thanks for making time, everybody. I know it's been a busy week. Congratulations for making it to the end of week 2 of distance learning. For those that are new to me, I know that this has gone out to several folks. My name is Daryl Beckers. I am the Learning Technologies Coach and Tech Coordinator over at Blaine High School. And thanks for making time today. So the webinar for today is going to look at how do you capture audio, how do you capture video, and then how do students submit that. So the first thing I want to share is that as a part of the invitation for today, there were 2 links, one for Simple Audio Recorder and the other one at Screencastify. Both are listed at the Tech Innovation page, which is also linked in the calendar invite. And both are required in order to get video. There's a reason that I'm using those tools, and the simple fact is that they're both Google tools and they're very friendly with Chrome. So that means that kids aren't going to have many struggles when they are, for example, uploading directly from their student device, whether it's a Chromebook or their own personal phone, uploading it to Classroom. So just as a heads up that's where those are. One of those that I will show how you add an extension. Extensions live, by the way, in the upper right of Chrome. And I'm going to just simply Google Simple Audio Recorder extension. And when I do that, and this is going to bring you to that link that's linked in the calendar invite, if I were to not already have this extension added into Chrome, it would say here, add to Chrome. And if I already have it installed, which I do, it's going to tell me to click this to remove from Chrome. Always smart when you're looking at tools to kind of look through the reviews and see what other people are doing in terms of, are they having much luck? Are they having success? If they're troubleshooting, are they getting help when they need it? So that's a good thing to remember too. I tested this yesterday with a group of teachers. I happened to be visiting with some teachers from the New York area, and it worked with the audio and during a Google Meet. So I'm going to just cross my fingers that it works with you all also. So this is why I love this tool so much. It is so easy. We want simplicity, especially when we're sharing this with students. By the way, the instructions on how to do this are all housed on the Tech and Innovation page. You can feel free to use those handouts, use that link to the screencast in order to share that with students. For some students, that the use of technology isn't always academic, and we want to offer them supports as if they were, not, for example, in their age group. I think a lot of times we overgeneralize, oh, that student is 16, they're going to know how to use the technology. And we know that that's just not the case. They don't all have the same literacy skills with tech, especially in an academic sense. So my microphone is linked up here. It is the extension that lives in just below my tabs here, for example. And you'll notice that when I click it, that it is recording and it turns red. So I can just give like an instruction. So I could give like a welcome to students using this audio. And then when I click stop, which is just clicking on the red mic one more time, you'll notice that it turns black. And then again, this is what I love so much about it, is now that WAV file waits for me in my downloads. For Chrome, if you don't open your downloads here like I do in Show Finder, I'm on a Mac, so maybe this looks a little bit different on your side. But in Chrome, those downloads live in this little 3-button settings. And I can go down to downloads, which is just about 1/3 of the way down. And then that audio file is waiting for me here, and I'm going to show that again in my Finder. And that's just a WAV file. So I'm going to double click to reveal it. You'll notice that when I click it, that it is recording and it turns red. So I can just give like an instruction. So that is just waiting there to be uploaded. It's ready to be emailed. It's ready to be added to your Google Drive. And you can share that link with people, right? Make it into a hyperlink. In fact, I'll show you how to do that right now because I think that's a really important feature. So I'm going to go back into my calendar and show people how to do that in Drive. Google Drive is a great way not just to keep your files organized, but also to link students to the content. So you can pick, of course, which folder your content goes in. I guess I'm going to model best practice here and practice as if I were teaching Spanish 1A. And if my Wi-Fi is not dragging too much like it was this morning at 6 o'clock, I purposely woke up early so that I could get some stuff done while I thought Wi-Fi would be quicker, and it ended up not being. File upload, when I go to click new, just like when you make a new folder, I can grab a file. So I click on file upload. And then that file lives in downloads. So I would just grab the file. Does anybody remember the name of the file that I did? I don't. That's why I'm asking. I'll cancel out of that and go see if I can go find the file name. Recording 2020. So when I go to file upload, I'm going to go look for recording 2020 in all of my downloads. And it looks like that is the one from today at 11:20. I'll click on open. And now that file is uploading. While it's uploading, I want us to be thinking about if you have students who are deaf and hard of hearing that will want text to support that. So you'll want to have some kind of a transcript. When I right click on my file in Drive, I have the option to get a shareable link. And this is what you want to do is you want to turn that on and you want to copy that, and you can put that in your instructions by inserting it as a hypertext link. So if you were to put it in instructions in a Google document, you could double click on your word like recording, insert hyperlink, and then paste that link in there. And a good way to double check that, to test it, is by doing that in incognito window. To do that, you can click on the three dots, and teachers have the option of going incognito. And what that does is it allows you to test it to see when a student opens it, is it going to force you to log in? Is it going to be wide open? What does that look like? So that's how we can do that. Students can upload content. I'll show you shortly on my phone how we can do that. Upload content to Classroom just from their, not only from a Chromebook, but from a phone also. Questions on how we recorded audio using Simple Audio Recorder, and how students might use that in, or the instructor side too. Questions for the good of the group before I move on to video? Are we just going to be a little shy today, which is fine too. Maybe we're all just exhausted, like I bet we are. The next way you could do this, I've used this with a student task called ¿Qué tal la semana? How was your week in Spanish? Where students recorded, and again, I would use a Google extension called Screencastify. I'm betting several of you are using Screencastify to share out messages with students. And to get there, to add that Screencastify extension, you would just click on install here. Mine is obviously already installed. There is a coupon code right now that is shared on that Tech and Innovation, and you can unlock premium features by using the cast_COVID coupon, which is listed on on Tech and Innovation. And you can do that. There's a subscribe now button here. If you're not already subscribed, there's an option for a coupon code to unlock those features, which is really nice. It doesn't limit you on that. So let's say I was giving a lesson to students and I wanted to showcase my Google Classroom, and I wanted to share that out. And again, thinking about students doing the very same thing, I'm going to go to one of my own Google Classrooms from the district that I used last year, and I could just kind of walk students through by just doing a screencast. So I'm clicking on this Google extension here, the Chrome extension called Screencastify, and I have the option of doing with or without mic, and it shows you here that your mic is live and active because it's green, and you can toggle between mics. So if you have like for example, I'm wearing earbuds right now versus the manual one, like in the default mic in the computer. You could also use like an external mic. So if you have a fancy mic, you could just plug it in the USB, and you could tell Screencastify, hey, I want this high quality one to kind of kick it up a notch a little bit. So that is an option. The other piece I want you to think about when you do Screencastify is the Embed Webcam. So you can go just desktop only, or you can include the webcam also. I didn't have luck with my webcam right away and here this morning, and something that I would suggest to you would be to restart your computer. I'm finding out that when I'm participating in a Flipgrid in the morning, and in the afternoon I'm recording an all-staff screencast, and then later on in the afternoon I'm recording this, I feel like sometimes we get the mics and the webcams mixed up a little bit. So if you're running into trouble and not getting a webcam to show, restart your computer. If that's not helping, open Chrome, close it out, reopen it again. Monkey around with the settings. Mac users will find those system preferences in the upper left in system preferences. Windows 10 users will find their search bar in the lower left down here. Just search for microphone or audio to play around a little bit. Let us know too, if you're a Blaine staff member, for example, you can just submit a help ticket that's located at the lock and key, the purple icon. So again, if I wanted all of just the desktop or just the webcam, this is a great way for kids to showcase what they know by just talking through something. It would be like a Flipgrid, except it would be a private entry between you and the student in the classroom. So I would do webcam only. It knows this one. I would click on record, and then my smiling face would come up, and I would give my recording, and I would say, hey, Mr. Beckers, here's my submission for the week. I'm checking in based on what you submitted in classroom. I'll click stop. And again, what I love about Screencastify is, like Simple Audio Recorder, it stays directly within what you have already set up in Google. So this video recording actually goes right to Drive. So when students are submitting work, they can do that right in Google Drive. They can submit it right from there. And the folder, no surprise, is called Screencastify. I'll show you where that lives too. So when I'm looking for that Screencastify, which it may not be ready yet because I just recorded, and that would just be in S for Screencastify. So that would live here. So you'll see all of my videos are linked right here. So again, it depends upon, do you want the kids to show their desktop or just themselves or both? Like a lot of screencasts that are done by teachers, there's usually a webcam in the lower right. It adds some personality. It adds some connection, I think, from kids. I also think that's a chance for teachers to share out, hey, this is what I saw that was successful already this week. Here's what I want you to think about for next week. Or maybe you record one every day. But students can do the very same thing using Screencastify. I did ask the question about the coupon code with students. I don't have an answer yet. I don't know, maybe give it a whirl and see what you find out using Screencastify. Questions for the good of the group before I show you what that looks like on the student side? On how you submit work on that. I'm going to unlock my phone quick while I show that I have way too many things open on my desktop or too many items on the desktop. This is a classroom. Can you give me a comment in the chat, or let me know by mic if you're able to see this video screen then of the Desmos teaching assignment? Are you able to see this? Jim Root, I saw you on this call earlier. Are you able to see that? I'm going to assume that you can. I don't have my chat open yet. Sweet. Thanks, Cynthia. I appreciate that. So I'm going to show you then how this looks like on the student side. So I am in the assignments tab of Classroom. So I am in a teaching math classroom as a student, and this is why I'm showing it from the student side. So if a student was submitting their work, I can go to all of my classwork, which is the lower middle tab here, and I'll just click on that. And just as if I were submitting an assignment, on the lower center here, and I'm going to add some documentation to this. As soon as I can drag this out of the way. When I click on the bottom for my work, now it's going to ask me, hey, do you want to add an attachment? So this is how it looks like when students submit work. And I would say, yes, I would want to go to Drive. And this is where I just peel through and find out, oh, where's that Screencastify? Oh, great, Screencastify. And now I can just pick the submission that I want to share. And let's say it was I better use a current one. So the teacher, let's see, today's the 9th. I'll pick the short one that we just did as the 9th. And then I would just mark as done. So I would let the instructor know, hey, I'm done with that. I want to click on mark as done in order to do that. That's what it looks like on the student side from the mobile application. One of the few critiques that I have of Google Classroom is that there is no way to preview the student side yet. So some other learning management systems, they have like a button that says see from student view. I just don't see that yet. If you also have that feedback for people in Classroom, and Google's pretty responsive on this, but there's a little question mark in the lower left. Click into that and let them know that you would like that as an option also. Questions about submitting video and audio to showcase student mastery using either Simple Audio Recorder or Screencastify. Let me know those questions by unmuting your mic or putting them on. And again, if you have what you need as a result of attending today's session, you're not going to hurt my feelings by dropping out of the call once you got what you need. I saw a question come up from Ryan. I kind of feel like when I do webinars, like I'm hosting on Minnesota Public Radio, and that you're gonna take your answer off the air, like, hey Daryl, long time listener, first time caller. I think we can preview on the Drive side of Classroom. Say more about that. I would like to know more about that, Ryan. Like when you see, can you unmute your mic if you're able to, and say more about that? I'm not sure what that means just yet. And I think we're on the same page as far as what we want to be able to see.
Yeah, when you open up Classroom through the Drive, you can just select what's been submitted as an assignment. And then you can click on the preview icon in the upper right.
So are you speaking from the teacher view or the student view? Like, can you walk us through how to do that on the mobile student app, or are you thinking about from the teacher side?
From the teacher side.
So if I look at classwork?
No, you'll have to be in your Drive.
Okay. And where would I look for stuff that's already been submitted within like my classroom folder of Drive?
Yes.
Okay, good point. So Ryan brings up a good point here, that everything that you are connected to for a classroom lives in your classroom folder. So if I were looking for that, this would be the student side. These are things that I've either submitted then, or things that have been created for me to do. That's a good point. Thank you.
And that's how I do almost all of my checking, because it's much more efficient in terms of looking through things if I'm just looking at things rather than interacting with students.
Okay. Thank you. Cynthia, I'm glad to know that this is helpful. I just wouldn't hesitate. Something that I got even better at about midway through my career is, instead of giving students like 18 instructions on a handout, I would just say, share a video with me. And when we tell kids to do that, kids know how to do that. I'll provide some documentation soon. I'm trying to get through email. I was gone Tuesday and Wednesday. I'm buried in email right now, but I wanted to make sure that we made time for this webinar. Again, the more that you can just invite kids, share a video with me, and they'll figure out how to do that directly from their camera roll too. If they don't pull it into Drive and they were to record from their camera roll, they could just submit as an attachment by going right into their camera roll for iOS. What do Android folks call it? Gallery, I think it's called, on that side. Other questions for the good of the group? Stay on if you want to ask a question privately. Otherwise, I'm just going to wish you excellent luck and a restful weekend. I think we have tomorrow off. I'll have to double check. But yeah, it looks like tomorrow we have off. I wish you a restful weekend. I hope you actually get some rest and maybe stay away from work for a little bit. It's hard in distance learning. It all kind of seems to blend in. My kids ask me frequently, what what day is it? And sometimes I even have to check my own calendar. Thanks for confirming, Cynthia. Any other questions at all? I'm going to go ahead and stop recording. And I'm going to do that in the lower right as a heads up. Lower right, I'm going to click on stop recording.